Our guest today is Jeff Gottfurcht, the CEO and co-founder of CyberDive, a technology company committed to protecting kids online. As a father and entrepreneur, Jeff has brought passion and purpose to creating tools that help parents and children safely navigate the digital world. At Smart Talks, we know that prevention is key, and Jeff's work is helping families stay connected, informed, and empowered. We're excited to hear more about how CyberDive is addressing online safety, online parenting and connection, and what it means to protect the next generation.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Smart Talks. We have a return guest today he has been such an incredible supporter of the foundation and of everything that we've done. He is a good friend and I'm so excited to have him here. Jeff, welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Happy to be here. Happy to be back with you all. And as you said, a very strong supporter of what you all do. And I'm just pleased to be with you all here to speak.
Well, just diving right in, I mean, why is it important for you to support us or this work, this specific world of anti-sexual exploitation?
You know, for me at our company, what we do at our company is we have smartphones that are built specifically for kids that allow parents to see every single thing that their children are doing online. Mm-hmm. So what we do is we turn the wall sideways and turn that into a bridge for parents to see everything. And that's from TikTok to YouTube to Snapchat. And our job at our company is to make human life better. And to circle back to what you asked, what you all are trying to do is to make human life better. I think that being in a for-profit for us, there are very few companies that are out there that are actually determined to help the fabric of civilization, not erode it. And I think that parallels what you all are doing because you all are relentless in trying to make change, trying to teach younger generations how to speak out, how to find their voice, how to have courage, how to have strength. And I think there's great alignment in that. And for us as a company, we obviously look to find partners who want to make human life better. And when I say that, I mean really make human life better, not just throw speckles out there in the universe. Mm-hmm. We want to be aligned with entities that really, what I like to say, walk the walk. And you all absolutely do it. And we're proud to be part of that. And we always will be because we love your fortitude, your diligence, and your resiliency.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
That's the end of the podcast.
Thank you. The end.
That's the end. 2 minutes there.
Okay, so as we mentioned, you've been a great friend, and Elizabeth and I know you. But for everyone who's listening, like your story of how you got to where you are, the story of how CyberDive was born, I find fascinating and so interesting. Would you mind telling everybody basically how you got here, like how you're here with us today?
Yeah, absolutely. So inevitably, the company started CyberDive after I had summited Mount Everest. And
which is amazing.
Stood on the top, 29,035 feet. May 14th, 2011 at 6:10 a.m.
So it's tomorrow's the anniversary.
It is. That is.
Tomorrow's the
Incredible.
anniversary.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So did that, and having done that and having spent some time on the top of Everest, you really realize how small you are. The world is a big place. And when I got back from that trip, my wife and I, we watched and read about 2 young ladies who had been sexually assaulted, and then their photos put up all over social media. So victimized twice, right?
Yeah.
And one of those young ladies ended up taking her life about 8 days later. The other one did not, and she continued to fight on. And I really looked at my wife at that juncture and said, we have to do something. And as you all know, a lot of people go to bed at night and they have dreams when their head is on the pillow, but when the sun comes up, they don't do it. It gets scary. And that's just not part of my DNA and who I am. So went and spoke to a lot of people within the tech industry and decided at that moment that we were going to launch a company that provided the ability for parents to see every single thing that their children were doing online, regardless if it was encrypted, regardless of what app it is, if it's Snapchat, whatever it is, the parent gets to do that. Now that's really easy to say. It's really hard to actually do it. And it equates very much so to climbing Mount Everest. Those are difficult things to do. When I climbed Mount Everest, we lost a team member on that trip. And to me, after Everest, everything's gravy. You know, it's like everything in my life I'm so grateful for. And with that also, the normal issues that a lot of people focus on, those are just trivialities to me. I just get through them, because what I like to say and what we talk about at our company is that we have NyQuil in our fists. And what I mean by that is we knock everything out. And we use that term often, having NyQuil in our fists. And so launching the company really stemmed from being on Everest, but also being a parent. And having a son, having 2 daughters. And as we began the company, starting to see so much of the nefarious things that were happening online. So many things that are so shocking that I don't even want to talk about in this podcast, because we as parents, not only do we not know about it, but we enjoy having the blind spot. We don't, it's so scary, some of the things that are on there, and some of the worst things you can imagine. And I think it was important to help civilization, because unfortunately kids, girls and boys, are being lobotomized by all this every single day. And the usual mechanism for parents to fight that was to use like a screen time block. You can't go online for a couple hours. Well, that's a cop-out product. That's not real. But, okay, so you don't get to see it for 6 hours. Well, then when you engage again in the morning, you're back doing that. So I think for us, again, we really wanted to build something that was impactful, reliable, and dependable as electricity, but also allowed parents to understand, here are the themes that your children are being taught. Here are some of the things that are happening online, that girls are supposed to be choked.
I mean, how, like, it is mind-boggling. Take me on a deep dive, I guess, of CyberDive. And how do you identify, like, when sextortion is beginning, or your child's at risk of sextortion, or when they are, like, how do you identify the different themes that they are consuming?
Yeah, it's a great question. And what, on a technical side, we're able to show the parent everything. So they get what are called sessions. They're able to see everything that's out there. And I think one of the issues that parents have, like you said, if it's from sextortion, is it grooming? Is it bullying? Is it body image issues? Is it self-harm? Is it drugs? There is so many aspects of just nefarious things out there. It's a very difficult, complex theme to solve. Very difficult. It is not easy. It requires us to come up with very intellectual, creative technology to be able to show parents that. It's not saying, like I said, a cop-out product where you can just block someone. That's turning off a phone. I mean, that's very simple to do, a screen time lock. We had to build something that was perfect, that again showed parents like us what a child was actually doing, who they're becoming friends with, who they're engaging with. So we are able to identify a lot of the nefarious things that are happening, but we also have to leave it to the parent to also understand this is happening. And we really believe in involvement over limitation. We knew parents deserve to get some runner on bases, and we know this is not fantasy football. These are real things. When you mentioned sextortion, we are very close with a number of families, and sextortion is when a person engages in sending out a picture to someone who they think is someone who's interested in them, and then they get extorted, saying that they're going to send out that picture to their school class, and they have to pay that person money. And when we talk about those stories, they're not just stories, they're real. Those are real families who have a real child who have been sextorted, and if they have taken their life, they're not here anymore. And I think that is something that we take very seriously. Unfortunately, we don't think a lot of the social media companies take it seriously. But again, every story needs a hero, and we like to be the hero. And again, but that is a tough fight that we embark on every single day. And like you said, it's tough for parents to see these things. But what we did was we gave the parents the ability to now have those conversations. What is happening here? And what we have found, a lot of young kids who are getting phones for a first time, they don't know what's out there yet.
Yeah.
You know, they don't know that. The kids who have been driving without the seatbelt, they're gone. You know, they've been driving without it. They're not going to put the seatbelt back on. But the young kids are able to have that communication with their parents, because a lot of parents who are buying phones for their child for the first time now, they grew up on social media. So they understand what's on there. And we really believe in involvement over limitation. And for us building product, you can't nail Jello to a wall. You know, that's sort of a term we like to use. Doing what we built with our phone, and the phone is called Aqua One, very complex, circuitous, and complicated, but we did it. And we do that every day because guess what? We know it matters. And we know parents are scared, even though they don't want to say they are. They are. And there's just a lot of thematics out there, again, that are very tough on kids. And
I mean, as a parent yourself, how did your kids respond? Because I naturally assume they have your phone. How did they respond to you being able to see what they were looking at? I mean, did they understand it? Have they like respected the boundary, or like has it, like how has that affected? Yeah, I'm just curious now as a parent.
When our kids were younger, we were able to give them aspects of our phone and the phone. And interestingly enough, what we found out was kids also like to have that communication with their parents. They want that. Now, of course, there are things that kids go through that are tough. There are. It is out there. If that's self-harm, if that's bullying, if that's, the same list and so forth, it happens. But we found, and especially with our customers, kids like it. They like actually the oversight and the ability to be able to go online into that free world, because there is a frontier of incredible things. If you're a child and you want to learn about quantum mechanics, you want to learn about the environment in Thailand, you want to learn how to make a blouse, all of these things, how to do your makeup, how to drive, how to learn a foreign language, that is all online. You can do that. That is great for civilization. Blocking kids from that, we do not feel is a good thing. That is not moving civilization forward. All you're doing is waiting for them to be able to compete. And guess what? If you're not allowing them to learn about things like that, they're going to be far behind. They will be behind other kids who are learning how to do things online. If that's learning how to do things with AI, if that is learning how to make their own lemonade company and incorporating it. These are good things to do. I mean, one of my daughters, she sells watches online. She couldn't do it. I mean, that's a very entrepreneurial thing to do. And if you're not online, you don't get to build that foundation of doing those things. So, and especially for young kids, because parents, our customer base, you're having parents who are buying phones at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I mean, very young. But again, as opposed to the parent just saying, here's my phone. They want them to have it so they can begin to acclimate to this online world, because the genie is out of the bottle. It is not going away. I mean, it's like the buggy whip and the car. When we had the buggy whips, buggy whip companies thought we're still going to have carriage and horses. And Henry Ford was like, no, we're not. Like, we're moving to the engine, and that's happening. So I think from our standpoint, there is so much great out there that you can learn. And on the other side, think about if you're a child who's trying to get a college scholarship and you're wonderful at writing essays, you can put that on social media and hope that someone sees that and says, you're a gifted writer. We want to give you a scholarship. I mean, that is moving the civilization forward. But with that, you have some real bad things that are happening. So I think you sort of have to balance that. And I think that's why kids are so open to having it, because also I think kids, they enjoy it. They want to be able to share with their parents sometimes what they're interested in without actually having a face-to-face conversation.
Yeah.
Kids aren't great about doing that.
Do you feel, I mean, people ask me all the time, oh, when should I talk to my kid about this? When should I talk to my kid about that? Like, when should I do this? When should I do that? Do you find that since your kids had it and you could see what they were consuming and like you were alerted to maybe the different themes or trends they were consuming, do you feel like it opened doors for you to have maybe some of those more difficult conversations with them?
100%. Now, in my position, I would come home every night and say, tell me about this. I'm interested because I know that you are watching things on social media that are saying girls should be wearing this, girls should be choked, girls should be doing this, girls should be doing that. Conversely, what's my son learning? The opposite. So we would often have very transparent and open conversations that are tough. I think some parents are scared it's scary to have those conversations.
Of course it is.
I want to tell you about this.
I mean, I'm scared to have conversations with my kids.
Well, and we're all figuring it out too, right? As parents, we're figuring out how to have those conversations.
How do we have them? So I think for me personally and for my wife, we early ripped off the Band-Aid because I would also ask them, tell me what you think about this.
Yeah.
This isn't real what's happening on social media. That is not the real world in which we live. But I think for me personally, having those conversations are great because what does it do? It opens the doors to other conversations. And I think that's what's important from our perspective when kids are doing so many things on social media. And there are a lot of parents where they don't get to talk to their kids very often. They're working 3 jobs. They're just trying to put food on the table. They're just trying to get to the next day.
Yeah.
And for a parent to be able to sort of see, oh, wait a minute, I see that my child likes the band, the Arctic Monkeys. Maybe I can buy them tickets to go see them in concert. Now, that sort of insight we think is good because without that, you don't know what your kids are into. And I think there's sort of this duality of being able to understand the really interesting things your kids are doing, but also having those very, very complex, tough conversations that are hard. And as we all know, having those conversations with kids is difficult. It's scary. You don't know what the outcome is, especially if it's something that's, somewhat provocative that you have to talk about. But I think it's important because your kids are going to see it no matter what. And I think we personally, I talk a lot with my kids about a lot of things being what I do. And I think a lot of the parents who are purchasing our phones, they're that type of parent. They don't want to have a screen time lock. They want their kid to be able to go out into the universe of online world and be able to explore and to learn and to meet people and to find out things that are incredible. The ingredients of a chocolate cake. Those are good things to be able to figure out.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But there are tough conversations a lot of customers have with their kids. And we love hearing about that because that is why we built the phone so that a parent can say, I had a conversation with my child about XYZ. They were starting to be groomed. They were starting to go into self-harm. They were starting to get into drugs. That's good. From our perspective, and I know it's a cliche thing to say, we save one life, we've done it.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people just say that, and it's just not with merit, but for us, it is with merit.
Yeah.
All human life matters. Every person who has a child, it matters. And when you have social media being the puppet master in your child's life, that's who's raising our kids, essentially.
Yeah.
And it's time for us to be able to sort of get that power back, and we're happy to do that.
So walk me through, for people that aren't as familiar with Aqua One, can we break it down and kind of simplify the technology, how it works, and how it works on the parent side too? Because there's other software out there, there are other gadgets and things, but I want them to kind of know what makes Aqua One so special, and the mirroring that you talked about, and like seeing that real time. Is that an app on the parent's phone? How do they see that? Like, walk everybody through in the most simple way how it works.
So what we inevitably built is the first time on the market. There was no other company that does what we do. What we do is we show every single thing that that child is doing on social media. We call it instant replay, sort of like TiVo or DVR.
Yep.
So anything that the child is doing, if that's texting, if that's putting stuff into a search engine, all of that the parent gets to see. So you really get an instant replay, but most importantly, it's in real time.
Yeah.
So there is no delay. And what the parent has, they have a dashboard on their phone or on their laptop or on their tablet. So they are able to go into that app anytime they want. They get alerts sent to that as well. And they're able to see all those sessions. And they are all categorized by the app they are on. We cover now over 13,000 apps. Now, most parents can say Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, YouTube, maybe Discord. Maybe parents know what Discord because they know it's about gaming, but they don't know much about what it is. Well, there's 13,000 other apps out there where there are possibilities where you can communicate with someone, where there are forums. Now, that's not considered like social media where we're putting up pictures, but you can communicate. So for the parent, they get to see that all now. They get to see every text. They get to see, even if you're on an encrypted app, encryption, which is supposed to be between two people, the parent can see that. So if someone is reaching out to that child on an encrypted app, asking for something, if it's something nefarious or whatever it is, the caregiver gets to see that. So what we essentially built is this incredible phone that the child has, the dashboard on the parent side, and what we also did, which was really cool, again, no other company has done this. There are companies out there, we call them product adjacent actors, who are in our field, but they didn't build something as technologically advanced as we have.
Yeah.
We also have what's called a shared dashboard. So multiple people can have it. So if you have a parent who's, maybe they are no longer married, maybe they live in separate cities, maybe they're serving our military, parent gets to see that as well. Maybe they want to include a grandparent to see things as well. You can do that. And I think that is a very complex thing when we're talking about moving data. If you think about all this data moving, on the back end of that. We also incorporate something that was really cool that we were very proud to incorporate, and it's called our nudity detection feature. And what it does is, if the camera, the front or the back, senses a male or female genitalia, it shuts down before a photo can be sent. And an alert is sent to the parent so the parent can decide if they want to unlock the phone or not. And that was such an important factor because we knew there were so many children who are not only being the victim of sextortion, but are also sending nude photos to very nefarious, disgusting people.
Yeah.
And they're able to do that very easily because it's easy to take a photo to do so. So we lock that down. So the child doesn't even have to take the photo.
It's amazing.
The minute the front or back of that camera sees that, it locks down.
Yep.
And for us, those were important features to put in there because now parent has instant replay. They get to see everything. They know their child cannot take a photo that would be a photo that would not be a decent photo. And what's happening out there in the world, there are so many predators out there who are trying to get those images. It happens every single day, nonstop. And guess what? It's not going to stop happening. That is just the nature of the beast right now. So we really created something that was so different than our product adjacent actors in building that instant replay and that nudity detection feature. And most importantly, we really consider ourselves like the Imagineers from Disneyland. We like to create, we like to telegraph brain power and futurism, what's next. And we have so many other vectors of things that we can add into the phone for parents that parents haven't thought about yet, but we have. And it's our job to really do one thing, glimpse into the future. That's what we do, catch a little glimpse and make that become real. And we have a very good pattern of taking things off of whiteboards and turning them into something that's real, and most importantly, that parents want.
Mm-hmm.
And with building that instant replay, I mean, what a unique thing for a parent to finally be able to see, see it all. I mean, it's like, imagine it's like you have the TV in the middle of the living room again. And as I said earlier, turning that wall sideways and turning that into a bridge is really like the ethos of how we started the company, because we didn't want to do something that just did sort of a good job.
Yeah.
That's like not good enough for the treasures of parents. I mean, that's not good enough. Being a screen time lock, that is not good enough.
Yeah.
It's not good enough for what kids are going through and what parents are having to wonder, what is my child experiencing? Who are they becoming friends with? What algorithms are taking them to places that they should not be going? And guess what? As we're talking right now, there is a whole bunch of kids where bad things are happening right now as we speak.
Yeah. I think it's so incredible. I think like a few things I want to zone into is, like you said, that this technology. So for apps like Snapchat that people know, where the picture fades, or Kik, where the message goes away, or like the hidden calculator apps, right? Where people are messaging, like this technology pulls all of that and they'll be able to see that. And so I don't think people really realize like what that means, because that is so unique and so different. So that is huge that I want people to know about this. But then the other thing I want to talk about, you mentioned it with the nudity alert, but the alerts that it will also send to the parents through the dashboard. Can you talk about like what kind of other alerts might be sent for like any of the negative outcomes that you were saying kids are experiencing, bullying online, like not just sextortion, we've zoned into that. But any of the other kind of negative things that could happen online, can you talk about what those alerts might be?
So like you said, to go back to what you first said, any action, if that's on Snapchat, if that's on Kik, if it's on Twitch, they get to see that, which is hard to fathom.
Yeah.
And on Snap, because we've always been taught that Snapchat is this.
It goes away.
It goes away.
Yeah.
Well, not with the Aqua One phone. The parent gets to see it. And I think that is such a unique thing. It's something that, again, is so futuristic.
Yeah.
You know, it's such an innovative, cool thing that we've been able to do there. And on the alert side, we give them a lot of alerts into negative photos, negative words, and it's up to the parent to decide, is that bad or not?
Yeah.
You know, that is the key component, because we can continue to alert them about the word kill, but a child might say, I killed it in my basketball game today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the parent still has to have some sort of involvement, because, you know, those blanket alert words and so forth and images, it's very obvious when we're images that are pornographic. I mean, that's very obvious to the parent. So we're able to send all of that to the parent, and they get to decide.
Yeah.
And most importantly, they get to decide, what do I want to talk to my child about? And I think that is the power in reestablishing a relationship, in being able to have parents have tough conversations, have unique conversations, find out things that are interesting. And isn't that what parenting is? Like, that is part of it.
Yeah.
So navigating that, and as opposed to this online world that's, again, takes our kids, and that's okay, but we needed a door back in. And like you said, I appreciate you sort of emphasizing what we do, because again, from our standpoint, it is so cool what we do. And we worked so hard. You know, we have NyQuil in our fist, as I said. Like, we knock things out. And, you know, for us, and we live by another saying in our company, jet lag is a choice. And what we mean by that is just, we will not stop. We will not stop till we become the #1 monitoring phone company for families in the entire world. Now, those are big realm ideas. But in order to build a very massive company that has a lot of impact, you have to think like that. We as a company enjoy big thinking and long-term planning. And I think that when I'm walking around, specifically because I travel so much and I'm just always looking at families in airports, just always looking at families, and I'm always looking at that one child who's in the corner, sort of not facing their parents on a phone. I'm wondering, who are they talking to?
Mm-hmm.
And mom and dad have no idea, and they wouldn't know. It's not their fault. So again, I think building impactful products is important, and it's very serious what we do.
Yeah.
And it matters, and it matters to those families who need it, and it's very meaningful work. What we do.
is. Going back to your role as a parent,
Yeah.
when you gave your children phones, and I mean, knowing everything that you do and knowing what the Aqua One is capable of, were there ground rules that you set with your kids with phones? I mean, were there big discussions that you had with your children about phones?
When we first gave our kids phones, before we had the Aqua One, we tried to put in rules that we failed. I mean, we failed. I mean, not because we were set up to win. We were going to fail. It wasn't going to happen. But I think inevitably what happened was all kids want to be part of a group.
Mm-hmm.
And to be part of the group today, you have to be on Snapchat. If you're not on Snapchat, guess what?
Yeah.
You're not part of the group. And we all know from growing up, that's the desire. I want to be part of the group. I want to be liked. I want to be.
You want to belong.
Yeah, you want to belong. I mean, that's
human nature.
Yeah, that's just normal, organic thinking for kids. So I think when we first started, we started with the position we're not going to give our kids phones. Of course, that's like the mantra that all parents are going to say. All right, well, then everyone gets Snapchat, and your child is the one who's at home, who's not part of it. And that's hard to watch as a parent, because you're seeing your kids suffer.
Yeah.
They're not part of it, and no one wants their children to suffer. So we inevitably had to give our kids phones, but again, they didn't have any of the tools that we had wanted at that time before we had built the Aqua One. And I think it's tough to have conversations with kids and say, I want to know what you're doing online. I want you to become friends with me on Snapchat. Okay, well then we're going to become friends on TikTok, and then we're going to, then there's all these other accounts they have. It's just, and we parents, we also have lives too. We have work and friends and family and things that we embark on every single day. So I think when we first had our kids on their first phones, as we put our daughters initially on some of those tools, and especially with a lot of the young customers we see now, there is a change happening. And I think that's important, where parents are starting to have a voice again, having that ability to catch some daylight of what their child is doing. And I think that's what's important, that they now have an ability to have power over the outcome of what their children are going through, where before a screen time lock, that just stops it for a couple hours.
Yeah.
I mean, you can read every day about children who've been bullied, who then take their lives. The screen time lock didn't help.
Well, and I mean, when I first started speaking, people would be like, oh, what do we do for computer safety? Be like, don't let them take it into the room. Like, make sure you have your computer out in a communal family area. And that was back when we only had like the big monster desktops.
Right.
And that was like almost easy, because then you'd be like, yeah, you can see the screen. You can do this. You can do that. I just remember so clearly, and like even myself saying at one point, yeah, just make sure your family computer is out in a family common area where anyone can see what's going on the screen. But now that is the most laughable piece of advice I could give, because everyone has a computer. Everyone has a phone. Everyone is connected in some way. So truly, like, what you have created is such a hugely powerful tool. And I mean, just even like, again, not belaboring what we've already talked about, but the points that we have talked about. I mean, the opportunity to have to know what your kid is into, good or bad, the opportunity to, address the things that are dangerous or that you perceive as unhealthy for your child. Like, again, the nudity lock, like, oh my goodness. I mean, I know people who have experienced sextortion, and like I just think maybe some adults should have that on their phone. Like I tell you what, some of the DMs I've gotten on Instagram, I'm like, I do not need to see that. Like I didn't ask for that.
You get DMs all the time from people doing that.
Like that's disgusting.
Right. Yeah.
So maybe adults' phones should have some nudity locks as well.
We can do that.
Love that.
We can do that.
Let's do that.
And I agree with you. And I think, I mean, you understand the solar system in which we've created for that parent. And it's so new and so innovative and so technologically advanced. It is just such a cool thing for parents to be able to see it. And they're not used to it. You know, they're not used to having that sort of insight of being able to see all that information. But for our standpoint, we have to help civilization. And that's what we get to do at our company. And that is absolutely fun. It is tough because we have to come up with, again, incredible ideas all the time that are impactful and are really can build into that phone sort of futuristic features. And that's what it's about for us, because again, it is not okay that kids are being bullied. It's not okay that kids are taking their lives. It's not okay that kids are self-harming and going on to forums figuring out, this is how I can hide it from my parents. There was a paper challenge going on not so long ago for girls. And that challenge was they would hold up a piece of paper, and the idea was you had to be skinny enough to get behind the piece of paper. And that's how much weight they had to lose.
You're kidding me.
So that's not, so I mean, if we had, so the width of a piece of paper.
So me holding this up being like, oh my
trying
goodness.
to get behind,
That's ridiculous.
And girls were doing that. And you hear those stories, and there's lots of other things like that. Parents are like, what are you talking about? But that is out there. And there are much more nefarious things that are out there that you know, we don't need to go over. But just that challenge of be this skinny, get to be that skinny. That is what kids are facing. And by association, that's what we as parents are facing. And again, self-harm is big. Bullying, body image issues. These things are magnified on social media for kids who are sitting there seeing images of that for 8 or 9 hours. You're just seeing that. This is what I'm supposed to look like. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is how I'm supposed to act. That is being lobotomized. It really is. And it's good that we have created something that where the parent can get back in there and say, this isn't real. This is not how love or sex is supposed to be. This is what you're supposed to stand up for. This is not supposed to be happening. And is that a big challenge for us and for parents to take on? Yeah, and that's okay. And we take that responsibility very seriously, because it's our job to help that family wherever they are in the United States of America or the world, and get them back in a position of involvement, being able to talk, and from our standpoint, be able to love each other again and have tough conversations that sometimes aren't great, but also have incredible conversations, which are wonderful. And I think it matters what we do.
So I want to talk about, if we kind of summarize all of this under the topic of digital safety overall, right? And we've talked about so many potential negative outcomes, mental health and self-esteem with self-harm, bullying, sextortion, right? All these negative potential outcomes from this topic of digital safety or the lack thereof. So what are some barriers to digital safety today, like you said, in civilization? And what do you think are some of the wins that we're coming into? And I think AHA 1 is definitely a win, right? Because of this technology really like empowering parents and families to have these conversations. But what do you think are some of the bigger barriers we have to break down to get to a better place with digital safety? And where do you think, like you see like the light at the end of the tunnel and some of the wins?
I think it's a major Mount Everest. There is a reason why social media companies are able to do what they do, and that's called Section 230.
Of the CDA.
Yep. And that allows them to not be considered publishers. They're just sort of a bulletin board where people are able to put up things. And when you have zero negativity or negative outcomes from that, where you can make billions and billions of dollars on advertising. That is not going away. We as a country might say, let's get rid of Section 230, and we might scream about it, but that's never going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Unfortunately, there's just too much money involved. And that is something that if you were able to repel that would change things. But I do not see that in the future
in
happening.
our lifetime.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that the monetary gains are so much. When you have companies, public companies making billions of dollars per quarter on advertising, it's hard to take that away. Hard to look at. It took us a long time with the cigarette industry to do that. Very, very long time. So I think on the macro, it's very difficult to change that. That's why, from our standpoint, you have to start on the other end.
Yep.
A lot of people want to focus up here, and that's great. And our government officials can debate it and try to do that, and that's great. That just takes more and more time. But while we're waiting for that to happen, which I don't think is going to happen in our lifetimes, there are some foundational things that, again, parents can do. And again, started not only with the Aqua one, but I think that most importantly, parents are starting to become aware of these things. And there's a lot more spotlight on what's happening on social media. And that at least gets parents to talk about it. And I think from our standpoint, talking about it is the first part. Talking about it, because again, you can't change Section 230. That is a macro event. That's not going to happen. But on the lower level, I think it's important for parents, again, to feel empowered and figure out, how do I navigate this? Where is some daylight for me? But I'll be quite frank, it is tough. It is not a simple solution for all parents to figure out how to navigate it. And again, there are so many things that children are facing and we as parents are facing. We're having to have conversations that we hadn't had to have before.
Yeah.
I mean, there are things that I know that kids get maybe in a group text that they weren't expecting to get. A text message that shows something that's nefarious. And parents now have to sort of have those conversations, I think, accelerated compared to sometimes what the age of the child is.
Yeah.
So if your child is 6 or 7, 8, 9, 10, and they're seeing this, that's probably a conversation you wouldn't have had until they were a teenager.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's sort of our kids are growing up faster. Your 10-year-old is now sort of a 20-year-old.
Yeah.
And that's happening because, again, what they're reading and they're getting that information at hyper velocity.
Yeah.
It's just so quick what's happening. And again, that's how social media works, because they want you to be on there all the time and getting new. If you're not getting new stuff, you don't get engaged with it. So I see glimpses of good things happening. There's the Takedown Act is going to be approved, is going to be signed on Monday.
Yeah.
It's going to be signed on Monday. And that's good legislation about revenge porn and AI images. And I think those are good to happen, and they will prevent future calamities. We've had some very good sextortion laws that have gone into place.
And CyberDive has been, I feel like, pretty active in
Yeah.
several states
Yeah,
in
we've been
supporting
active.
that legislation.
Yeah, we've been active in big one in Ohio, and we've been active in South Carolina with that, and we continue to do that because those laws really change the outcomes of those perpetrators and turn those into actually felonies.
Yeah.
I mean, as they
Rightfully
should
so.
And they should be.
Exactly.
As
Yeah,
they should
like
be.
they should. It shouldn't have taken this long and
No.
years of legislation. I
To
mean,
get caught up.
yeah, like let's move quicker. But again, we move slow, and that's just sort of the nature of the beast. So the fact that you're starting to have legislation go through, not to get rid of Section 230, but to turn things into criminal acts with jail time, that is good.
Yes.
I mean, that means we are getting serious, and that's important. So I think on the nefarious side, that's going to constantly continue. And I think that's very important. And those will expand, from sextortion into other things. It will expand into drugs, into kids who are getting fentanyl online, and so a lot of them passing away from that. And those are the things that, again, we as a country have to attack. And I think the more we can do that, the more we can have synergy in making that happen. Again, helping civilization, not eroding it. And there's other good legislation that will be coming again, but it just has to pass. Just has to pass.
So if anyone was interested in learning more about the Aqua One, could they go to like Verizon or AT&T, or where do people learn more about Aqua One, and is it available in all retailers?
Right now, you come directly to our website, and that's at cyberdive.co, and you can get it directly through us. There's going to be some future opportunities where we'll be in some retailers, like you said, so we're excited for that to be happening. But right now, if you're interested in seeing what your kids are doing online,
which you should be
right now,
which you should be,
which you should be, and you get to see it, go to our website and get yourself a phone, because you are going to have a world open to you that you never thought was possible. And I think that is the beauty of what we've built. And I say that not only as the CEO of the company, but I said as a parent. The things you get to see are just remarkable. It's like the light being turned on, and I think that's important. So our website right now is the primary facilitator of where to get the phones, but we will be expanding here very soon.
Oh, good. I'm so glad to hear that.
Yeah, we're really excited about that.
Okay, so you've said as a company that like one of your mottos is to dream big. That
Absolutely.
You love to dream big. So can you tell us
what was the other ones?
What
NyQuil in your fist?
Yeah, NyQuil in your
Jet
fist.
lag is
I
a
won't
choice.
forget that. Yeah.
Right.
What's
I'll give
the
you
other
one more.
The burn the barn down to see the moon.
Oh, yeah, burn-
Hold on, you were telling us about that. Yeah, that's another one we didn't forget.
Don't let anyone walk through your mind with dirty feet.
I
Ooh,
like that one. That was a good one.
Another one. It's all a paper cut.
a lot of mottos.
Yeah.
Okay, with the dream big one, can you tell us like what is something that's on the horizon or that you guys are reaching for, that's a new thing that is coming soon that you can kind of tell everybody is something to look forward to, maybe?
Well, I can't tell you everything. Because
all the secrets.
Here's everything. Here are all the secrets. What I can say is we have some more unique features that we know parents absolutely want. And we have something that we're going to be announcing soon that is an incredible other side of the Aqua One phone that matches it perfectly, that parents, their jaws are going to drop and say, yes, that's what I wanted as well. And I'm sorry I can't share it with you right now on this, but
just building the
an exciting little thing for the future. Yeah. And then when you can tell us, we can share with everybody.
We have something that's absolutely incredible. If not instant replay and nudity detection already being incredible.
Yeah.
This is something that completes that whole holistic solution.
I love it.
That's amazing.
We're excited to announce it.
It's great.
When the right time is coming.
That's wonderful.
When is that time? Do you have a date in mind yet?
When we're not recording.
Fair enough.
Well, maybe we'll have you guys do it for us.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be really fun.
How does that sound?
Yeah.
Sure.
Help roll it out. Yeah.
I
love that.
I like that.
I love that.
I like that. But we do have some very cool things coming out.
So something to look forward to, everybody.
Absolutely. And if you're not innovating new things, then shame on you.
Yeah.
If you're not coming up with very exciting things that are exhilarating, that are tough, that are going to change the world, don't do it. Because that's what it's about, building things that create massive change. And we've done that, and we're going to continue to do that.
Well, thank you so much for joining us again today. I don't think I'll ever get tired about hearing about the Aqua One and all of its capacities, but just like how important it is for parents to know what their kids are doing online and to be involved and to have the conversations. And I know I kept asking you, but as a parent,
natural.
I'm so appreciative of that. So thank you so much.
Well, it's a pleasure to be with you guys, but most importantly, you guys walk the walk. And you guys also fight. You guys have such resiliency. You face adversity and you guys punch through it. And that's great. And you're empowering the next future generation of kids. And that is what it's about, because that is what real change is about. So thank you for doing what you do. And I applaud you guys, because that is a tough hill to climb. And you guys have taken it on together. And I really respect that about you both.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
The feeling's mutual, and likewise,
Yes.
I feel like you are empowering and giving knowledge and education back to parents to have these conversations that are scary, but you're giving them the tools to be able to do so, and in really, I think, revolutionary ways. That's so exciting, because we talk a lot about technology is neither good nor bad. It's the end user and it's the intention, right? And so you are such a great example of using the bad side, like attacking that bad side of technology with good new technology, right? Combating that and providing that and putting that back in the hands of parents. So thank you for sharing your tips, your expertise, your knowledge with us. We are so grateful, and I'm so excited for everyone else to hear about this.
Well, thank you for having me. Pleasure to be with you both.
Thank you so much. And for all of you listening, thank you for listening. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share this. I think every parent should be listening. Every parent should take action and not just sit back with blindfolds on. So thank you, and we'll see you next time.
That's it for today's episode of Smart Talks, brought to you by the Elizabeth Smart Foundation. Thanks for joining us as we dive into these important conversations about creating a safer, more compassionate world. We hope that what you've heard challenges you to think deeply, feel more compassionately, and see the world through the powerful lens of a survivor's truth. If today's episode resonated with you, or if you know someone who would benefit from hearing this, please share it with them and consider subscribing. And leave us a review wherever you're listening. We'd love to hear from you. Connect with us on social media. You'll find us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. If you would like to support, you can make a one-time or recurring donation of any amount at elizabethsmartfoundation.org/donate. You can also find more resources and ways to get involved on our website. Thank you for listening and being a part of a community that listens, believes, and works together to create a future where no one has to suffer in silence.